everybody, it's Tim Sackett, and I'm back with another episode of the world-famous SmashUps, the most highly watched videocast podcast on Fistful of Talent. So I want to thank, as always, our sponsor, SmashFly, and the great folks over at Fistful of Talent for hosting this and allowing us to have this platform. And not just because he pays for this, but because I got to see him at TA Tech and speak, and I think he's probably one of the best minds when it comes to recruitment marketing in the industry. I'm bringing on the founder and CEO of SmashFly, Mike Hennessy. Mike, how's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Great. So give people a little bit of background. You started SmashFly back in like '07. Before that, what did you do?
So before SmashFly, I was the founding chief architect at a company called Brass Ring. So that was like late 90s, early 2000s. Me and my team built the first 4 versions of their enterprise talent management system. And then, so I was there for 10 years up until October of 2006 when Connexa purchased Brass Ring. And that's when I left and officially launched SmashFly in January of 2007. So we'll be coming up on our 10-year anniversary in this January, which is, it's hard to believe.
That is, yeah. Because I think if I would ask most people and they would say, hey, like, how long has SmashFly been around? They would probably think 2 or 3 years, right? It's like it seems like a very new company technology. The branding obviously is exceptional. In the software and the technology, is really kind of industry leading. So I think that's why people would say, I can't believe you guys have been around that long. Where did it start at? Where's it at? And how did you get to where you're at right now?
So we started. I think the history is like 2 different histories of SmashFly. First 7 years, bootstrapped. So lean years, didn't take any angel funding, didn't take any outside capital. We got some servers, we built software, started with a kind of next generation job marketing with real-time analytics in the heart of it. That was kind of the core V1. And then probably a year or 2 into it is when we took a step back and realized when it comes to the top of the funnel, job boards are part of it, but there's just so much more, and having a much more holistic view of, hey, we need an enterprise solution to do all of this really resonated with us. And that's what we've been building over the last 10 years almost. And so 7 years, we got up to 20 full-time people. It was a slow build. And then we took our first round of funding from OpenView, $9 million, and then recently $22 million led by Bessemer. And so we've gone up, we're now over about 128 people just in the last 2 years. So a lot of growth and a lot of recruiting at SmashFly itself.
Yeah. Awesome. So that really leads me into the first question too, which is when it comes to recruitment marketing, tell us like kind of where's your organizations in your mind, where should they be right now? And then secondarily, where should they be in the future, right? Where should they try to get to from that standpoint?
So great question, because I do think that sometimes, our product is specifically geared towards the large enterprises, but I can tell you that recruitment marketing is applicable to a company of any level. We are 128 people and we practice what we preach. We've hired a dedicated recruitment marketing person here, which I don't think is it's very rare, right? Most people have a recruiter when they're size, but we believe so much in the idea of recruitment marketing that we've invested in our own career site. We've invested in hiring somebody to launch those programs. So I think for a level set for companies where if they're thinking about recruitment marketing, I think it's important for them to acknowledge the challenge that's in front of them and acknowledge that recruitment marketing should be part of something that they're doing and taking steps towards what does that mean across the company. I think it's a different change in mindset, so that you're not thinking about, hey, we've got these 10 jobs or these 20 jobs to fill, as much as an organization, we need to always be finding 24/7, 365 the best talent. How do we find them? How do we engage with them? So I think that's where companies should be, at least saying, hey, we should be doing that if we're going to stay competitive. Where ultimately we feel people, where should they be going? And, we've got a lot of articles and white papers and blueprints of like, how do you get there? But I think they really need to think about recruitment marketing is not just a piece of technology that you do. It is people and skills, it's process, and it's technology that enables it. So where they need to get to is fully embracing the right processes for them, the people that they need to hire. They've got the right people with the skills. A recruitment marketer is not necessarily a recruiter by any means. Marketing people are not salespeople. So I think, if they try to have a roadmap over the next 2, 3, 4 years, they will have a map around, we're going to hire these people to do these things around the top of the funnel. It's going to generate this kind of ROI for us, and we're going to use this kind of technology to help enable and make that much more efficient for us.
Yeah, two things. One is you had mentioned like you guys have a lot of information on your on the SmashFly website, and I'll have to reiterate that because there's a blog series of about like 7 or 8 blogs that basically tell you how to launch recruitment marketing within your organization from like step A to step Z.
Right.
It's really good, so check that out. Secondarily, you kind of mentioned like where companies should be in terms of wanting to always be on 24/7 recruiting talent. And I think that's where executives always felt like that's what our job was as a recruiting organization, a TA organization. Yet we were never there. And so I think it's just trying to get to what our executives already really expect from us, right? Which is, you should be out there doing that. So next question, which is, when we take a look at that TA stack, then where does recruitment marketing fall into that? I mean, we all, at a minimum, we hope that you should have an ATS, especially since you can go get one for free. So where does recruitment marketing fall in with everything else that's out there? And then obviously employment branding, recruitment marketing, it's a chicken or an egg thing. So what comes before the other?
Yeah, so I think we have a pretty clear vision for, when you look at you always have the conversations around point solutions, best of breed versus platform. And you can start on any piece of the recruiting funnel and say, well, we can keep drilling into best of breed, and then you're always pulling back out to, well, wait, that belongs in a platform. And I think we've thought long and hard about this. And when we've looked at historically how and where there's been enterprise solutions where there's a platform play, for us, it comes back to the audience, right? So if you think about the full HR technology stack, at the bottom of recruiting is employees. You've hired them, you're in employees, and you have an HRIS system to manage employees, engagement, benefits, payroll. That's a big problem space to solve of managing employees. Above that is where we've seen, and I participated at Brass Ring, is the rise of the ATS or the talent management suite, right? And that's where it's not that the HRIS systems didn't try to add that functionality to their platform because they wanted to be the whole suite, but it was always going to be less functionality and not near as good because it's really managing applicants as a whole. It's a big problem to solve. And so I think it dictated an enterprise platform for that. And what you have for the ATS is all of these other solutions that plug into it, assessments, background checks, but you have a single system of record. When it comes to pre-applicants, I think what we've seen historically is there has been no system of record. The ATS isn't the right system, and so companies have been trying to bolt these solutions onto the ATS. Our vision for the HR technology stack is you really do need an enterprise piece of software for the top, managing leads across the top of the funnel. That is, it should be an end-to-end organizational solution. And then you can have all these other solutions that plug into it, social sourcing sites, all these other sites. So our vision, we have a slide where we show kind of the 3 core systems, RMP, an ATS, and an HRIS. And I think we strongly believe that will be the best way of recruiting going into the future.
Yeah, and I think it's one of the confusions that's out in the marketplace because I think every ATS is trying to tell their users and their buyers that, oh yeah, we have CRM, right?
Right.
And the reality is it's usually just some mass email functionality or some really vanilla watered down version of what CRM really is. And even the best ATS CRM functionality is still not even close to what you have at SmashFly.
And I think one of the things that we noticed is we hired a lot of people from Brass Ring and Taleo, right? And they were coming from the mindset of an ATS, and they were like, well, how are we different from you? And then they got here and immersed in our world of what we do, and they were like, oh my gosh, I had no idea like all of this other stuff was going on. So I think it's hard for a person, the companies that are our ATS as vendors they look at their solution and they're like, well, we do that, and they're adding on, but it really is a different mindset and a totally different problem that you're trying to solve. And it's not just add these couple other features to your existing ATS. I strongly believe that. And I should also mention, we're right at the beginning of a recruitment marketing platform, right?
Yeah.
Like I know we've been building it for 7 or 8 years, but I can tell you there's a massive amount of innovation left to do. So it's going to take a lot of investment. And what's unique about SmashFly, I think, is that we're that's all we're focused on. Like, we're not going to be an ATS. We're not going to do all the other stuff. We're just going to do a recruitment marketing platform.
Excellent. Let me level set real quick with everybody. Hey, you're listening to SmashUps, the video cast series from the folks over at Fistful of Talent, and obviously, our sponsor here is SmashFly, and we're talking with the CEO and founder, Mike Hennessy. So, Mike, what's that aha moment that SmashFly clients have when they finally get it turned on, they get it running down the path, everything's working really well, and they go, "Holy crap! I can't believe we waited this long because."
100% unequivocally, it's the data. And we actually had a company meeting back in February, and we had 4 of our customers, Lockheed Martin and Bright House Networks and Charles Schwab, come, and we asked them all, kind of like, for you, what was that aha moment? What's the best benefit or the value? And unequivocally, every single one of them said it's the data that we get, whether it's to decrease spend on existing advertising, understanding where are we getting quality candidates versus sources that aren't delivering, reducing time to hire. So there is an aha moment where after they've got it up and running for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and they actually start seeing data and where they're actually getting quality candidates from. Data that we said they've never had that before. They have no idea what they were getting. It's extremely powerful for them. So analytics has always been the heart. The reason that we say that you have to have a recruitment marketing platform, probably the number one reason, is so that you can measure you have an apples to apples comparison of how is that job board doing versus my career site versus an email blast versus an SMS versus sourcing candidates from the social sites.
Yep.
If you don't have an apples to apples comparison, you can't make informed decisions on what's working and what's not. So whether we measure it the right way or not, and we have a very consistent way of measuring it, it's different from job boards and other ones, but I think that's the value for senior level people when they want to say, how do we compare all of this? The data is going to give them that insight to really see comparatively how things are doing. And how the other part is recruitment marketing is like marketing, it's iterative. So you measure things, you drop things, you try something new, did that work? And so it's not something that you put in place and you let run. You're always trying to optimize and make it better. And data lets you do that.
And I think just that mindset alone is new for talent acquisition, because I think obviously talent acquisition, especially in the enterprise level, has always kind of been a function of HR. And I think it was always, hey, we're going to spend all this time, develop one project, one program, and then we're going to go and we're just going to do it. And we're not going to change it. We got to let it run. Whereas in marketing, it was always fast to say, hey, we're running this commercial, it sucks, it's not doing anything, so we're going to dump it, we'll try something else, and we'll move on. I think TA finally is starting to get that you can test a lot of different things, see what works, see what brings you the fastest candidate, see which brings you the highest quality candidate. Like it's multiple things, and it can change really quickly. And the data gets to that point.
I think where recruitment marketing is versus marketing is back in like the late 90s. You would hear marketing people say, 50% of my marketing budget is working great. I just don't know which 50%. And so since then you've got marketing automation and the rise of that. And I think now it's very data driven on marketing. You can know exactly what pay-per-click campaigns and all these things that are running. I think recruitment marketing is there. I think the talent acquisition professionals are coming around to this is not just an art anymore. There's a science and a data-driven aspect. And so we can know, is that job board producing, or should we put money here? And I think they're getting to that point where they are able to have those much more meaningful conversations at the C-level around budgeting and where they're going to spend their money and how they're going to target the right candidates.
Well, and I think for the first time, the talent acquisition budget has got to the point where the CFO is going, hey, wait a minute, you're spending millions of dollars on a certain source, a certain job, or a certain whatever. You better tell me if that's working or not. And I'm always shocked when I talk to some of these TA leaders, and they literally have no idea. Right. And I'm like going, you're spending $3 million with this one job board or source, and you have no idea if it's working or not. Like, that's insane to me.
Yeah, it's all very anecdotal for them. Oh, my recruiters think they get the best candidates from this job board. It's like, well, can you prove that? No.
Yeah, that's great. So, hey, I'll get you out of with this one before we leave. So, any advice you have to get people to start, right? So they haven't started down this path of recruitment marketing yet. It sounds great. They know it's kind of the future of what they have to do in talent acquisition. How do they get started?
Well, I think, like I mentioned, that recruitment marketing, I think, is a people, process, and technology thing. So if companies want to get started and say, hey, we don't want to spend any money, but how do we get started? I think the right part is for the talent acquisition leaders to go to the senior level and say, this is something that we believe should be a company-wide initiative. Like, yes, we have positions to fill, but if we want to stay competitive and grow the business and be successful, do you all agree that we should be thinking about finding and getting always the best talent and engaging our employees to be part of that solution? And get buy-in from the senior level around, yeah, we want to do that. How do we do that? And then start thinking about, well, what are the types of people that we want to hire? Really start thinking about a roadmap around who are the people, where would we find them, how can we make our career site better, thinking about the candidate experience. So I think you can get started on the process side and maybe even the skill side of who's going to help out. And then as you move forward from there, that doesn't cost money except for resources and time, which is for a lot of companies that's hard. And I think I understand that, but I think they can get started there. And then what they'll see is when they have those processes and things out, a technology solution like ours makes a lot more sense, right? Because now they've got this whole product, like how are we going to do all this? A technology like ours can come in and really automate a big part of that, and it'll be a huge time saver for them.
Yeah, no, it's great advice because I think you have to start with, hey, let's make a philosophy change and ensure that we have buy-in at the senior level. That's going to start everything from the ground up. That's your foundation. And if you truly are saying, and your senior executive team is truly saying that talent is going to drive our growth, is going to drive our success, it's a philosophy change that has to be made.
And you have to invest in it, right?
Yeah.
You invest in marketing and sales because selling product is important to you. But if you understand that hiring the best talent is actually the number one driver for your success as a company, don't just give it lip service. Just like, well, yeah, people are the most important thing, but and then the CEO, or the senior level goes back to their day-to-day job. They have to realize, I think, that it is part of all their jobs around constantly looking at driving and finding talent.
All right, excellent. Thanks, Mike. Thank you very much for coming on with us today. Everybody, make sure you check out SmashFly, smashfly.com. You can link in with Mike on the LinkedIn site there. I know he's out there. And just, again, thank you for Fistful for allowing us to have this platform, for SmashFly for sponsoring everything. We'll check it out. This is the end of this episode. We'll see you next month.
All right, thanks, Tim.